Oliver, welcome to you. So I suppose you had really little choice but to take this online, otherwise you probably would have lost money.
Absolutely, but we actually predicted it. In the weeks running up to the release, we thought that we better have a backstop. And so we started developing a way of making the film available online as soon as possible.
And technologically then, how difficult was that to do? And I understand that there is still a price attached to it if I choose to watch your film.
Yes, so we decided to build a platform on our own because this is still our theatrical run, so it's still a new film. And we still want to be able to recoup in the ways that you would if we went to the cinema. And we had to test it for 2 weeks, and so far so good. People have really responded. It's actually, in a weird way, I think it's given us a bigger audience because people have more time to go and see the film now.
Are you able to share the response figures with us at this point?
No, I can't. But I mean, it's definitely in the thousands. We've had, I think the film did 2,000 or 3,000 people in its 10 days that it was in cinemas, and we've already reached that same amount of people in less than a week.
You're something of a pioneer now in this respect as well, because I would imagine people are looking at what you've done and conceivably saying to themselves, well, maybe this is the future of this particular medium, given, the challenges that the entire industry is going to face over the next couple of months. This isn't over yet.
This isn't over yet, and from a distribution point of view, we are still having to understand, what is the palette of the South African market. Cinema prices are expensive. Cinemas aren't in every neighborhood in South Africa. So digital streaming is becoming the future because people can watch things on their cell phones. And as a filmmaker, I have to respond to that.
More broadly, the South African cinema fraternity, in terms of films that are in production right now, I would imagine this is fairly catastrophic. Everything's in shutdown.
Yes, I've had friends who were on the second day of shooting a film that had to pull the plug on everything and send everyone home. Pulling a stop on a film is a nightmare. A film is really, shooting a movie is like taking a train, and when you leave the station, you can't turn back. So having this COVID-19 crisis is a disaster for the film industry. Let's,
in conclusion, talk about the film very quickly, which has been well reviewed. It's about a young man during the apartheid times. It talks about conscription and also sexual identity. I wonder if years on from the end of apartheid, whether this kind of story maybe is a little easier to tell, a little bit more palatable perhaps.
I think it's the nature of films about war. In cinema throughout various countries, depictions of wars in their countries, cinema usually takes about 20 years to find a way of talking about those kinds of themes. We've seen this in American cinema, particularly about the Vietnam War. So it seems almost fitting that now is the time to kind of go back to the border war and to explore it in a film.
As I say, it's been very well reviewed. Oliver Hermanus, thank you very much indeed, joining us via Skype, director of the movie Moffie.